I think one of the most striking things that we're seeing is dwindling in participation rates for tackle football. This has been most evident amongst younger kids, but even among high school athletes. We've seen in the last couple of years, for the first time, the number of boys participating in tackle football go under 1 million participants. That's declined about 15% of its peak. Among youth under age 13, however, it's been even more pronounced. The decline from the peak of youth participation rates under age 13 is around 50% by the best data we have. Yeah, the main finding from our study from last year that looked at the extent to which people endorsed tackle football as an appropriate sport for kids was that 50% of U.S. adults seem to somewhat or strongly disagree with tackle football as being an appropriate sport for kids. In contrast, about 45% of U.S. adults seem to somewhat or strongly agree. Yeah, so the issue of who plays tackle football is particularly contentious for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, of course, football is far and away the most popular sport in America. Many more people watch or follow it and care about it than any other sport. It's also traditionally been far and away the most popular sport for boys to play in high school. Nonetheless, people are becoming increasingly aware and concerned about the injury rates associated with football, and we've especially seen this associated with head injuries. And so football becomes contentious as, on the one hand, people recognize the tradition and social status and opportunities for social mobility and passion for football on the one hand, and on the other hand, really concerns about whether or not people are risking their health and safety when there are other sports that one can play. Yeah, so a variety of formative experiences seem to matter in terms of directing people's opinions about tackle football for kids. Beyond what we talk about is really social structural things like gender, race, ethnicity, sexuality, social class. Also, the sorts of family and community environments that people grow up in seem to matter. So, for example, having a parent who is a football fan or who played football, in addition to the adults, whether or not they're still football fans and watch and follow football, seems to matter quite a bit in terms of their opinions about tackle football for kids. Also, we found some regional differences. Places that are largely associated with playing tackle football, like the South and Midwest and Northeast, compared to being in the West, seem to encourage support for tackle football for kids. Yeah, so looking to the future, it looks like if trends continue, the extent to which tackle football is America's most popular sport, at least for kids to play, seems to be in doubt. Increasingly, it seems like minority, racial, ethnic kids and kids of lower socioeconomic status disproportionately seem to be playing tackle football. It may be that football becomes obsolete. It's crazy kind of to think about. The fact that boxing was the most popular sport in America 100 years ago, that might happen to football. Whether another sport comes along that garners people's passion and attention to a greater extent, or people become increasingly wary and really upset about the health risks that football entails.